What if the person you trusted most was the very reason you disappeared? Tonight, we tell the story of a girl from Willow Creek, and the chilling truth that hid behind a smile. Willow Creek wasn't the kind of town where terrible things were supposed to happen. It was small, safe, the kind of place where neighbors waved from their porches and kids rode bikes until the streetlights came on. Everyone knew everyone. And that's why when Rachel Carter, a 19-year-old college freshman, suddenly vanished one autumn night, the entire town unraveled. Rachel wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was the kind of girl people remembered. Soft brown hair, always tied in a messy bun, hazel eyes that seemed to smile even when her lips didn't. She worked part-time at the local diner, always humming while she carried plates of fries and milkshakes to the same people who had watched her grow up. She wasn't loud. She wasn't rebellious. Rachel was steady, kind, and most of all she was loved, which made her sudden disappearance even more haunting. On the evening of October 14th, Rachel had just finished her shift at the diner. Her best friend, Lily, remembered Rachel saying she was going to stop by her boyfriend's place before heading home. But she never made it home. She never even answered her phone again. By morning, her parents knew something was wrong. Rachel wasn't the type to ignore calls, wasn't the type to sneak off, and definitely wasn't the type to disappear without a word. And by that afternoon, Willow Creek had its first missing person flyer taped to lampposts. Police got involved immediately, partly because of how out of character this was, and partly because the Carters were well known in town. Rachel's father was a high school teacher. Her mother volunteered at the church. These weren't strangers. This was family to everyone. Detectives started with the obvious. Her boyfriend, Ethan Miller. Ethan was the golden boy of Willow Creek. Charming, clean-cut, the kind of guy who played football on Friday nights and helped his dad in the hardware store on Saturdays. Everyone liked him. He and Rachel had been dating for 2 years, and to outsiders they looked picture perfect. But detectives know better. They always look behind the smiles. When they questioned Ethan, he seemed nervous. Too nervous. He admitted Rachel had come over that night. They watched a movie, he said, and then she left around 11:30. That was it. He kissed her goodbye and she drove off. But there was one problem. Rachel's car was never found. The search went on for days. Volunteers combed through fields, woods, and back roads. Helicopters scanned the riverbanks. Nothing. It was as if Rachel had been swallowed by the night. Her parents begged on TV. Her mother's trembling voice cracked as she pleaded, "Rachel, if you can hear this, please come home. And if someone has her, please, please let her go." The community held candlelight vigils, their prayers floating into the cold October sky. But with every passing day, hope dimmed. And then, a week later, detectives uncovered something that shifted everything. Ethan's alibi didn't hold. Phone records showed that Rachel's phone last pinged near Ethan's house, not on the road home. And security cameras at a gas station, the only road she would have taken, never showed her car that night. If Rachel left Ethan's house, she didn't go home. Detectives pressed harder. Ethan swore he loved Rachel, swore he'd never hurt her. But cracks began to show. Neighbors admitted they'd heard shouting in the past. Rachel's friends whispered that she had been thinking about breaking up with him, something Ethan wasn't ready to accept. Still, there wasn't enough evidence. No car, no body, no proof, just suspicion. Until the discovery. It was a cold morning when a farmer noticed something unusual on the edge of his property. A muddy shoe half buried near a creek. A woman's sneaker. Investigators rushed in. DNA confirmed it was Rachel's. The creek was only 3 miles from Ethan's house. Police searched the water, the woods, every inch of soil. And finally, they found her car submerged in the creek. The windows cracked, algae crawling across the metal, her purse still inside. But Rachel wasn't there. Her body was still missing. The town that once adored Ethan began to whisper. Did he snap that night? Did she tell him it was over? Was her disappearance an accident? Or something darker? Detectives brought Ethan in again. This time his story changed. He admitted they argued, admitted she stormed out. But he swore she was alive when she left. And then came the moment that no one in Willow Creek could forget. Detectives received an anonymous tip. A voice on the other end said only one chilling sentence. "You're looking at the wrong person." The call was traced to a payphone near the diner where Rachel worked. Whoever it was, they knew something. And what police uncovered next would shatter everything the town thought they knew about Rachel's disappearance. Rachel's car had been found. Ethan's lies had been exposed. But the anonymous call changed everything. If Ethan wasn't the one who made Rachel disappear, then who was? And why did they want the world to believe it was him? The truth, when it finally came out, would be darker and closer than anyone in Willow Creek could ever imagine. The diner where Rachel worked had always been a warm, familiar place. But now it was the scene of suspicion. Detectives combed through security footage. The payphone stood just outside, a relic nobody used anymore, until the night the tip came in. But the footage was useless. The camera was broken, never repaired. Still, detectives knew this. Whoever called knew Rachel. They knew Ethan was being framed, and they were close enough to use a payphone in town. The circle of suspects widened. Rachel's co-workers were questioned, friends, neighbors. And that's when something unexpected surfaced. A waitress named Amber confessed she had overheard something weeks before. Rachel arguing with someone in the alley behind the diner. It wasn't Ethan. It was a woman. And not just any woman. It was Lily Harper, Rachel's best friend. The revelation shocked detectives. Lily was the one who had first reported Rachel missing. The one crying at vigils, clinging to Rachel's parents, holding up her photo in the streets. She was the grieving best friend. But what Amber said matched a detail no one else knew. The argument was about Ethan. Rachel had confided in Amber that she wanted to break up with Ethan, and that Lily had feelings for him. Detectives brought Lily in for questioning. At first, she played her part, the devastated best friend, wide-eyed and trembling. But then, inconsistencies slipped through. She said she last saw Rachel the day before she vanished. But a neighbor spotted Lily's car parked near Ethan's house the very night Rachel disappeared. Why would Lily be there? When pressed, Lily broke down. She admitted she had driven by Ethan's house that night, just to check on Rachel, she claimed. She said she saw them arguing on the porch. But she swore she drove away before anything happened. Detectives didn't believe her. And then came the forensic bombshell. Fibers from Rachel's missing sweater were found in the trunk of Lily's car. The town turned upside down. Could Lily, Rachel's lifelong best friend, really have something to do with her disappearance? Lily denied it, sobbing, swearing she was innocent. She said she only gave Rachel rides sometimes. Maybe that explained the fibers. But detectives weren't convinced. Rachel's parents refused to believe it. Lily had been like another daughter to them. Then, 2 weeks after Rachel's disappearance, a breakthrough came from the river. Hikers found a bundle snagged on the rocks. Clothing waterlogged and torn. Among them was Rachel's jacket, the same one she wore the night she vanished. And inside the pocket was a folded note. The ink had bled, but the words were still legible. It was Rachel's handwriting. It read, "If anything happens to me, it's not Ethan. It's Lily." The town gasped. Rachel had named her best friend. But why? Detectives arrested Lily. The trial that followed split Willow Creek in two. The prosecution argued that Lily's obsession with Ethan drove her to jealousy. That she lured Rachel away that night after the fight with Ethan. That she forced her into the car. And somewhere between the diner and the creek, everything spiraled out of control. But Lily's defense painted a different picture. They said Lily was being framed, that the note was planted, that Ethan, desperate to cover his tracks, had turned suspicion on her. The courtroom was electric. Reporters packed shoulder to shoulder, Rachel's parents pale and broken on the front row. And then, the twist that no one expected. Rachel's body was found, 3 miles from the creek, buried in shallow soil in the woods. The medical examiner revealed the truth. Rachel hadn't drowned. She had been strangled. And under her fingernails they found skin cells. They didn't match Ethan. They didn't match Lily. They matched someone else entirely. The DNA belonged to someone who had never been on the suspect list. Someone no one thought to question. Mr. Carter. Rachel's own father. The revelation shattered the town. Investigators discovered a dark truth. Mr. Carter had been leading a double life. On the surface, he was a beloved teacher. But behind closed doors, Rachel had discovered things she wasn't supposed to know. Financial fraud, affairs, a hidden gambling debt that tied him to dangerous people. Rachel had planned to tell her mother. Her father couldn't let that happen. That night, after the fight with Ethan, Rachel had gone to Lily. Lily drove her home, unaware that Mr. Carter was waiting. He intercepted Rachel, convinced her to go for a walk to calm down. She never returned. The anonymous caller. It was Lily. She knew Ethan wasn't guilty but didn't know who was. She feared the truth but tried to steer police away from Ethan. The fibers in her car. They were from the rides she had often given Rachel. The note. Rachel had hidden it in her jacket weeks before, suspecting her father might hurt her if she pushed too far. The town was devastated. A father had betrayed his daughter. Mr. Carter was arrested in front of the entire town. The man who had once taught their children was led away in handcuffs. Rachel's mother wept as truth broke her world apart. Lily, though cleared, would never escape the shadow of suspicion. Ethan, though proven innocent, left Willow Creek for good. And Rachel became a ghostly reminder that sometimes evil doesn't come from strangers in the dark. Sometimes it comes from the person you trust most. Her story was carved into the town's memory forever. A lesson in betrayal, resilience, and the courage to face even the ugliest truths. And so, the girl from Willow Creek didn't just vanish. She was silenced by the very person meant to protect her. Let Rachel's story remind us. Trust is powerful, but truth is stronger. And no matter how deep secrets are buried, one day they rise.